Ladies and gentlemen of the Action Army, what is going on? And welcome to another episode of Answers for Athletes. In today's video, we have a question from Alex M, because I think I butchered your last name last time, so I'm just going to say Alex M, who says, "Hey coach, I didn't fully grasp all of the info even after watching Andy Galpin's short podcast. So here's the thing. I got 5 weeks of really intense strength-focused training, and I'm honestly wiped out from it. What is the best way to handle this based on Dr. Galpin's research? Like, should I do 3 weeks of heavy training out of the 5, then cut volume to 70%, then 50% for the next 2 weeks? Or is it better to push through all 5 weeks, take a deload week, and then do 2 weeks at 70% and 50% volume? What do you think?" So I'm slightly confused on the time frame that you actually do have, so I'll give you a couple examples based on what you could mean. But just a quick background for anybody who's like, what is this dude talking about? Recently, I made a video on why you need to taper your vertical jump training, which means, so I talk about deloads, backoff phases. It is a period of training. So you're training really hard, right? This is your volume phase, quote unquote, your highly intense, higher volume phase. You're crushing your body so much that you deserve a deload, a taper, or a back off, because a lot of people don't train hard enough to deserve that. The body ain't going to increase. You ain't been stressing it. So let's say that you're stressing the body really hard for 4 to 6 weeks. Dr. Andy Galpin did some research with another gentleman who I cannot remember his name, but this is not a new study. It's an old study, but they did a 3-week taper, right? Which means you reduce the volume for 3 weeks afterwards, which I believe was just a 2-week taper. The first week was still 100%. The second week, they reduced to 73% volume. And the third week, they're reduced to 50% volume. So they're doing all this training. Then they go to 73% volume and then 50%, like half of the total volume that they are doing by that third week. And here's what they found. In these college athletes who were in season, this is a real study with college athletes who were in season, they saw a 7% increase in fast twitch muscle fiber size, 10% increase in single fiber force production, 3 to 4% velocity increase, and overall power was up 10%. So this is crazy, but we all know, we knew this, right? After you train really hard, you have to do a deload, a back off, or a taper so that your body has time to rest, recover, and adapt to all of that stress that you were just giving it. So Andrew M's question is, he has 5 weeks of really intense strength-focused training. He's wiped out from it. So he's been stressing the body enough. So he deserves a taper. What should I do? Should I do, if I have 5 weeks, should I do 3 weeks of heavy training, then cut the volume to 70, then 50% for the next 2 weeks? Or should I push through all 5 weeks, take a deload, and then do 2 weeks at 70 and 50? So what I'm getting from this is you do have more than 5 weeks. At first I thought all you have is 5 weeks. So I'll just talk about this very quickly. If anybody out there is like trying to peak their vertical jump for any given reason, or peak their performance for any given reason, like these college athletes were trying to peak for the championships. If you're trying to peak for basketball playoffs or a basketball championship or a tryout or a showcase or anything that you want to be performing really well at, or a volleyball match, like a tournament, anything, you need to taper your training. You can taper your training and use that. You're doing 100% volume. You can use that 2 weeks before you want to peak your performance, 70% volume. 1 week before, like the week of, 50% volume. And then that weekend, if it might be a volleyball tournament or whatever, that is when you're going to be seeing your greatest performance as you taper down in volume. And keep in mind, with the study, they kept intensity up. They did not drop intensity. They kept the same frequency of workouts per week. So the same frequency that you do. So normally Monday, Wednesday, Friday, strength training workouts for your lower, they kept that. And then the intensity, they're still pushing as hard as possible. Some even pushed harder than normal. They went more intense than normal, but the total volume decreased 73% and 50%. So I think it would be very good if you only have 5 weeks I would do 3 weeks of really stressful, hard training, then 73% volume, then 50% volume, and peak your performance at that point. But in the second scenario, you say, is it better to push through all 5 weeks, take a deload week, and then do 2 weeks at 70% and 50% volume? I don't think that's a bad option either. That is what I do in a lot of my programs. That's what I do with my in-person athletes, my online athletes, some of the athletes that I coach with my customized coaching. Everybody is different. However, mainly what I do is a 4 to 6 week volume phase. And then if that was really intense training, we do take a deload week, which is like 70% volume, 70% intensity. Like we're dropping the volume and the intensity, 50 to 70% volume and intensity, dropping both of those. Then we get into a Backoff phase, which is 40 to 60% volume, but it's 100% intensity. So I have found this to work very well. Should you do a Backoff? Should you taper? Dr. Andy Galpin is honestly much smarter and much more intelligent, and he's an actual scientist. He is in the lab doing muscle biopsies, so I would listen to him instead of me. But I have coached a lot of athletes, and I've seen great results by doing 4 to 6 weeks of volume, 1 week deload, 4 week Backoff. So for you and your second thing, you could do 5 weeks, take a deload, and then 2 weeks at 70 and 50. That would be a good idea too. So both of those are good scenarios. What I would do is, if you're not on any time crunch, I would do both and see what happens, see what creates better results for you. That's how you have to do it. There's all this research out there. You have to get anecdotal. You have to see what works best for you. Like for me and what I see, I track all my athletes' numbers. I see what improves the performance the most. In 4 to 6 weeks, 1 week deload, 4 week Backoff. That's the best. So for you, Andrew M., I would do both. 3 weeks, if you can do both. Do 3 weeks, then do a 2 week taper, 73% and 50%, or 70, 50, whatever numbers you gave me. I can't remember. And it's right here, but I'm not looking. Or then try the 5 weeks of intense training, the deload, and 2 week taper. Try them both, see what works better for you, see what has you jumping higher, feeling your best, and then do that. But I think they're both good options. Anyways, that's it for this video. Like this video if you like it, subscribe to the channel, leave your question down below if you want me to answer your question in a video just like this. And there's a link down below in the pinned comment and the description of this video with access to my advanced training programs. If you would like to take the guesswork out of your training and you would like me, a professional strength and conditioning coach and sports performance trainer who trains elite high school, college, and professional athletes, if you want me to set up your sets, your reps, your exercises, your regressions, progressions, your periodization, your phases, all that so that you jump as high as possible, get as athletic and as explosive as possible, click that link and get my programs or my vertical jump customized coaching. But I will see you in tomorrow's video. I love you all. Peace.